You are in the free speech zone. No safe spaces allowed. Nightcaps with Nate.
Coming to you live from just outside the swamp of the nation's capital. Get ready for invigorating talk, commentary, and debate on the issues affecting your life. Grab your favorite drink. It's Nightcaps with Nate. Now, here's Nate.
Hey, welcome to Nightcaps with Nate. This is Nate, and I am having issues with the camera. So let me just double check this camera capture here, and we will keep talking as we do that. Something actually has happened here, and we are going to fix it right now. And I just got it fixed. Boom, we are on, and we are live. Welcome. It is Redneck Wednesday, my favorite day of the week for doing this show. Why? Because I have, to my left, my man, Kevin, otherwise known as Kev Paul, the hip-hop country artist.
Please, no gang signs. Please,
no
sir.
gang signs.
Gang signs.
And down below, hailing from Colorado, originally from West Virginia, when he was in a free state, he decided to turn into a bunhead and move out to Colorado. JD also has his own podcast, the Self-Made Podcast, as you can see behind him. Hey, Kathleen, how you doing? Hey, if you're joining us tonight, make sure that you like and subscribe to the Nightcaps with Nate page. If you want to call into the show, you can call in live. Just remain on mute and follow the recorded instructions from the producer, 443-247-5309, 443-247-5309. You can also interact with us through comments on the Nightcaps with Nate page. Also, go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel where you can always find the latest episodes of this awesome kick-ass show. So, tonight we are going to start off, unfortunately, with some nasty news because of what's happening in Minneapolis right now. People are actually fired up, as they should be. We are a country of laws. We are a country of liberty, and no one deserves to die before they go before a judge, unless they are taking on the cops with lethal force. Then, of course, I'm all about cops taking them out. But in the case of Mr. Floyd, I don't care what his past is. I've heard videos and seen videos of his past and all this stuff. Does not matter. Your past does not determine your present. If you were being arrested, even if you were resisting a little bit, nobody deserves to be choked out to death. They can be restrained with as much force as needed as to do it. Now, I do want to talk a little bit, though, just a little bit, about the proper way to protest and the improper way. Now, I'm not like some guru on protesting, but a proper peaceful protest, and what I mean by peaceful, it doesn't mean that it has to be quiet. You can be as loud as you want. By all means, protest. In fact, on the screen right now, I'm showing you a good peaceful protest. This is coming to you from, I think, WCCO, or one of the local channels in the Minneapolis market, okay? They're peacefully protesting. Let me fast forward a little bit here. You see they're doing it. Yes, they are forming a line. The police are. I think originally that liquor store there was looking to be looted, and so they formed a line there. People are getting, they're doing the tear gas and all that stuff. Now let me show you what the improper way the protest is, and that's called rioting. If you want to ruin your cause faster than anything in the world, this is how you do it, man. Why would you just besmirk the name of George Floyd, in his name, go and teach a lesson to your local Target? All right, now Target is headquartered in Minneapolis and St. Paul there in the Twin Cities. All right, so they're everywhere. But what are you teaching these stores when unfortunately, they say in the inner cities like Detroit, they call them food deserts because a lot of stores won't invest there because the insurance are too high. All right. Now, this isn't the only reason why. It's usually daily basic thefts. But when something does go batty, your store gets busted in. Windows get broken out. People start looting. This is unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable because it ruins the name. And now the story is not only on the injustice done by the police. Now the story is about, oh, well, look, they don't really care about the cause. They just care about looting and getting big screen televisions. And that's not right. All right, I want to see. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that it's kind of like whenever you're having a dispute with somebody, right? And you're having like a one-on-one dispute, you want to minimize any thing being countered upon you in the midst of a dispute, right? Same thing with a protest. You want to do your protest in such a way that it doesn't take any light off of the situation and it makes it to where they can cast it somewhere else. You want to keep it under wraps. You want to keep it under control so that the focus is on the person that was unjustly murdered. The man was murdered by 4 or 5 police officers watching as he's asking to breathe. Going out there and doing this at a target does nothing for the movement, does nothing for any type of follow-on actions. It only hurts anything. Now, how do we now you have people that need to do fire control on this to try to figure out how do we work around that situation that's happening at a target, because at the end of the day this movement needs to stay strong, because this is the second person that's been killed by either a cop or what, a month and a half or so.
Well, it happens all too often, and it's usually a black man. This is the same city that pissed me off because a concealed carry permit holder, Philando Castillo, was live streamed while a cop, he told him, hey, I got a concealed weapon, I have a permit. And apparently the cop, or he understood the cop to say, and I understood the cop to say the same thing, that, hey, he's like, I'm going to grab my wallet. And as soon as the guy puts his hands down to grab his wallet, now, if he's going to shoot the cop, he wouldn't have said, hey, I got a gun, I'm going to shoot you with it. No, he would have snuck and had the gun out, right? He said, I'm going to grab my wallet, and the guy gets scared and shoots the guy. All right. This is the same city that when a white lady, and this happened to be a black cop, an immigrant from Somalia. They have a very big Somalia presence there. I was stationed in Minneapolis. First of all, I stand with MSP. It's a beautiful big city. For a big city, it is actually a very safe, clean, big city. But this guy, they were looking for, the lady called 911, said, hey, there's some sort of a predator around the house. They're looking, and she walks up to the cop car. She's like, hey, it's me that called. And the cop got scared and fired through his door, his partner's door, and killed the woman. All right. So there's obviously a training and a cultural problem in the Minneapolis Police Department. Now, it's a very, very, very liberal city. It's like Denver. Okay. For being in the Midwest, it's an extremely liberal city. So you would think that they would have this crap under control, but they don't. But the way to ruin your message is to act like what you're seeing on the screen. Okay, because these people don't give a shit about George Floyd. If they did, they wouldn't be doing this right now. They don't care about George Floyd. They care about using this tragedy to get a big screen TV, some money, or what have you. And it's sad. And Target, you wonder why prices are higher in the city? Because insurance is higher in the city. They did a study that if you have a car and you're north of 8 Mile Road, which is the suburbs of Detroit, your insurance could be up to 400% less than if you drive in Detroit. So much so that 3 out of 4 drivers in Detroit, at least back when I lived there, according to a news report, don't even carry car insurance because it's too damn expensive. And it's illegal, obviously, but, it's dumb. It's dumb. Jim Gallagher says the cops effed up, but these riders deserve at least rubber bullets to the nuts. Dave Adams, that's just thugs looking for any reason to go out and do anything they please. Kathleen says Mr. Floyd's death is not an excuse to act like assholes. Totally agree. The looting and rioting should not be happening. It's ridiculous. By the way, Kathleen is Kev Paul Alleman over there on the screen. That's his wife. And, she was affected by it. She was very upset about it, being a black woman herself, a half black woman but herself. I mean, she's scared for her brother. She said, hey, she's a conservative. She's a libertarian. She's not like some, woke lipster who's, out to go campaign for Biden. But she said, I fear for my brothers when they go out. And I'm assuming she's talking about her real brothers, right?
Yeah, she's talking about her brother John and her brother Marcus and Nathan, her father, who's also John. I'm affected by this because these are my in-laws. I've also had really close friends that are black. Everybody that I've ever associated with through high school. There's a lot of people that are affected by this, and from the Marine Corps. As you have your friends that get on here, Nathan, from the Army. We as military members, we know so many different people of so many different backgrounds. It affects us on that level too. And at this point in this time, I've seen a few posts that I completely agree with. There's things that we can do as white people to stand up for the injustice that is going on here, because at one point Martin Luther King marched for civil rights, and now it's our turn to stand up for them and make a movement with them to progress the motions of getting rid of this police force that is just killing people. And you know what, people say it's a mistake, people say whatever they want, but after a certain point it's no longer mistakes. It's absolute just making the worst decisions that you can and not caring about the human life.
Yeah,
we have to care about human life.
We have to care about human life, whether it's white, black, brown, and guess what? And liberty. We are a nation of liberty. We have the most awesome jurisprudence. We are actually guilty until proven, or sorry, we are innocent until proven guilty. We are literally innocent until they prove us. Now, there's a lot of structural reform that still needs to be done. Better public defenders for the poor. You know, I'm a big supporter. I know I got lambasted by my fellow rednecks here because I'm against the death penalty, because I think that there's too many people that are unfairly convicted. There he goes. He's shaking his head. Jasper says the cops murdered a man in cold blood. Let's call this what it was. I love law enforcement, but these officers are trash. They deserve to be convicted of murder. Good. Jasper,
100%.
totally agree with you. Guess what? 100%. You'll not get one argument. You are a co-host on this show. We support exactly that. What we do not support is breaking the law in order to further your point. And now, there's a difference between breaking the law, like civil disobedience, disperse, get out of here, no protesting allowed. That's breaking the Constitution. That's called civil disobedience, okay? That's what happened on the bridge, you know, in Selma and all that. That's civil disobedience. What I'm talking about is breaking the law when you're destroying other people's property for no reason whatsoever. That's unacceptable.
Stay focused through the process.
100%. Stay focused. These guys right here that you see on your screen, they are peacefully protesting right now. Okay, these are people that are doing nothing but standing out there and yelling, "I can't breathe," and all that stuff. That's a good message. All right. Jasper says, "Are you serious, Jim? Don't commit a crime and this would not happen. So breaking the law deserves death." Now, yeah, I'm going to answer that, Jim. Glad that you're part of the show. You're more than welcome to call in if you want, 443-247-5309. But he said, but as a paramedic in New York City, black on black crime is way more prevalent than cops killing people of color in 34 years. Okay, that's conflating two issues. The one issue is this: if I broke into Kevin's house, if he didn't shoot me, which he has the right to do, and I run and the cops chase me down, they are authorized by the Constitution to use enough force to subdue me and get me in front of a judge. That's their job. Their job is not executioner. Their job is not to mete out punishment. Their job is to get me with as much force as needed, only as much force as needed, and to do it. And to get me before a judge.
That never happens, though. That never happens.
Then what happens?
Too much force is used way too many times.
Right. Don't say it never happens. It happens because there are good cops out there. There are also many bad cops who, and a lot of it's their training. They're trained to be us versus them. Hey, I'm going to go out and fight crime. You fight crime by getting people in front of a judge. Okay? Yeah. Yes, black on black crime is another topic that we have dealt with in this show as well. Yes, black on black crime is way out of hand. More black people are killed by another black gang member. But that's different. Yeah. We entrust police with a gun, a lot of right to deprive people of their liberty justly. Stun guns, tasers, batons, handcuffs. They're the only ones that can go out willy-nilly. And if they even suspect you of doing a crime, they can detain you and put you and take away your liberty for a minute by handcuffing you and putting you in a car or taking you to jail in front of a judge. So, Kathleen says, everyone wants to bring up black on black crime after a shitty officer kills a black man. I love law enforcement as well, but shitty cops exist. Guess what? We're not going to conflate the issue on this show. On this show, those are two separate issues. Yes, we have a crime problem in America, especially in our inner cities, and a drug problem in the inner cities and in Appalachia. But we also have a police problem in this country, and I'm very pro. I'm a former military policeman myself. My grandfather was a cop. Everybody on here is pro-military and pro-police, but we are also, first and foremost, oath keepers. We promise to uphold the Constitution no matter what our job is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just pisses me off because there's a lot of bad law enforcement officers out there. You don't ever see anybody walking up to a cop to have a conversation. If everybody sees a cop, they get so nervous and scared to death to even hold a conversation with them because they have such a bad name, and that's what pisses me off.
Yeah. And you know what? That's where, I was talking to Gabriel on the show last night, and that's where they're getting into more community policing and stuff. Jim Gouger, we're not mad at you, buddy. He says, okay, sorry. Listen, we understand. We agree. There's a lot of crime and a lot of good police sometimes are caught in this liberal net of blame the cop first. Okay?
Yeah.
But in this situation, the cops were dead wrong, no pun intended, dead freaking wrong.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
the biggest thing is, like, so being that we are pro police and we're pro military, right? Just as much as we are that, it's about protecting and serving. That is the police motto, right? And you have the police, the definition of a police is responsible for the prevention and detection of crime and the maintenance of public order, not the executor, whatever they're saying is
the judge, jury, and executioner. No.
Yeah.
They're not the judge, nor the jury, nor the executioner. They are public servants.
Exactly.
That
Public
are meant
servants.
They are servants
Yeah,
that
but
are assist and protect and defend. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it all goes back to what Nate originally said. There's a high lack of training in these agencies, and there's no further training. Essentially, once you get to become a certified officer, you're on the road, then that's it.
Yeah, and you know what? They're trained like that on purpose. They take over a year of training. It's not like the olden days where we just, hey, you want to be a deputy? And they, in the Wild West days, and you slap a gun and some nickel badge on them. No, this is straight up. They are trained. Gabriel, he's a big city cop. He did 6 months police academy plus 6 months minimum on the road with a field training officer so that he could handle the awesome responsibility entrusted to them. Okay.
I just feel like a lot of these guys no longer look for a situational de-escalation. They look for a reason.
Yeah, they're there just to slam you to the ground. I remember the first time, even back in the day, watching cops. I'm like, man, they're rough.
Yeah,
let's not get out of the car. It was open the car door and they'd grab them and throw them to the ground. Ladies too, and I'm like, is that really necessary? When I was in Germany, it struck me because when I was in Germany, and I was getting pulled over. I was so used to American police that when I got pulled over, I'm like, oh crap. The German cop literally will turn on the lights, then they'll get in front of you, put out a sign that says, follow me. Police, they might even say please on it, right? And you follow the cop. They don't come up behind you. They park right in front of you. There's just a trust there, right? And then they come out. They say, oh, hey, come on up front. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, man, am I going to jail? No. They're like, here, have a seat. Here, watch this video. They showed me the video of me speeding. Apparently they had it on their dash cam with the kilometers per hour over there. Then they say, then they print out the ticket and they automatically take 10% of your speed off just in case they weren't calibrated correctly. And they say, have a nice day. And it's very calm, very, I'm like, man, our police could really learn a lot of it. And a lot of this stuff, they can see trends. Yeah. Okay. Here's in the Star Tribune today, Minneapolis Star Tribune, 4 officers on scene have been fired. Here's what we know about Derek Chauvin and Tu Tao. He's over there. They have a big Somali immigrant community and a big Hmong, H-M-O-N-G community. And so that's probably what this other officer was. He's Asian. They said in 2008, Officer Derek Chauvin shot and wounded Ira Latrell Tollers during a domestic assault call. According to a 2011 article from the Pioneer Press, Chauvin and other officers showed up to apartment just before 2 a.m. Tollers grabbed for an officer's gun, allegedly, and Chauvin shot him in the abdomen. In 2006, Chauvin and 5 others responded to a stabbing after Wayne Reyes, 42, allegedly pulled a shotgun on the officers. One of the officers shot and killed Reyes. According to a report titled Stolen Lives from Communities Against Police Brutality, United Against Police Brutality, a police watchdog group. In 2017, Lamar Ferguson sued Tao. He's the Asian cop that was, if you saw the video, he was the one that was holding out the protesters or the people that were saying, hey, let him up. Instead of saying, hey, let him up. Instead of the cop doing the right thing, say, hey, man, get your knee off his neck. Let him breathe, right? He sat by, but apparently he and another officer, Robert Thunder, in 2017, were sued for excessive force. According to the lawsuit, Ferguson and a woman who was 8 months pregnant were walking home when Tao and Thunder stopped and searched them without cause. Another huge unconstitutional thing is that stop and frisk, which I hate. The officers handcuffed Ferguson, and Tao threw him to the ground and began punching him while Thunder kicked him, according to the allegations. The officers took Ferguson to the hospital for medical treatment. Afterward, they escorted Ferguson to jail wearing only his underwear and T-shirt, rejecting hospital staff's request that he be allowed to be fully dressed, according to the complaint. Okay, a lot of times, I'm not saying that those are real allegations. What I'm saying is that usually there's some sort of a pattern that starts escalating to this, where there's an actual disregard for human life. And that's what that was. I really don't think this guy really tried to murder that guy. If anything, he should get second-degree murder charges, because first-degree murder is when you premeditate. Hey, I'm going to go out and kill somebody today. All right? Yeah. But he should be charged for murder. Don't get me wrong. Because he's trained. Nowhere in military police school, I took 22 weeks of military police school, did I ever learn that it was okay to put my knee in somebody's neck and to hold it there for 6 minutes. Never. Never once. Never had a takedown technique like that.
That is excessive.
Jim Gallagher says very poor training. Troy says there's always that bad cop who thinks he is above the law. Exactly. Carrie says we'd give Italian cops a carton of cigs, apparently when she was over there. I mean, that's a good way to get in good with them, right? You know,
so I think my whole thing of it is.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Joe, what I was going to say is the thing about this is that whenever you look at these situations and you look at this, the police forces and stuff like that, you get a pack mentality, which is like the wolf pack mentality or whatever they call it. Like, it's a mental, like it's a human phenomenon where they kind of feed off each other. One person does one thing, the next person increases, and then they become increasing it with each other. And it's like the victim is just sitting there like, I'm not doing anything though. What are you doing to me? Why are you doing this to me? And it's a pack mentality. How do you break through that phenomenon?
It becomes a worthless use of resources after that.
Yeah.
So, I really did a big segment on this, and I just want to give an update today. Look, people, please go out. Don't spread misinformation either, okay? Just as bad as eluding is this thing going around showing this guy who apparently has a make whites great again hat. It looks photoshopped anyways, first of all. But even if it's not, Twitter lets verified users spread fake photo linking this Minnesota cop to make whites great again hat. It's not him. All right, so let's not again give anybody ammunition and say, see, the liberal media is going after him. And I'm first to go. In fact, I'm going to beat the hell out of the liberal media later on in the show with some great sound clips that are funny. But let's not let them say, well, hey, see, it's just the liberals. They're just trying to go after this cop. No, he needs to have his day. And I presume him innocent. Man, that video looks awfully, awfully damning. He probably needs a good lawyer and to just plead guilty to something.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want us to go all the way up on that first or second degree murder charge. I mean,
whatever he gets, whatever he gets, as long as I hope that it's just and it's complete.
Right. And if he's found not guilty, I'll say, man, I don't see what you must have saw something different I did. Hopefully they televise these court proceedings, the entire thing, so that they're transparent, open. The worst thing that they can be is not transparent. And I do give this liberal governor and mayor credit. The last time you'll probably ever hear me give a liberal credit is that they got out in front of me and said, hey, yeah, this is wrong. Okay. So looters, please stop tearing up your city. It's not going to adjust anything. It's going to ruin the message of this guy coming out. Okay. Yeah. Carrie says, what is the best advice you can give to Turtle, my daughter, Kev knows, to give to a new cop? I don't know what
de-escalation of force.
Oh, she's
advice.
She's a new cop, Turtle.
Yeah, she's an Army military police officer.
Oh, yeah, but see, their hands are tied anyways. They're like state troopers. State troopers, their hands are always really tied. The military police, de-escalation. You saw the other day where that guy rammed the Corpus Christi Naval Air Station. That was a legitimate use of force. Okay, he shot her. It hit the security forces or whatever they call their military police in the chest where she was wearing her body armor. She returned fire and killed the bastard. That guy deserves it. Okay, this is a different thing. So de-escalate when possible. Yes, Jasper, it's going to be federal charges. Thank you for bringing that up because you're taking me to my next story here, and that is that President Trump asked the DOJ and FBI to expedite probe into George Floyd death. He says, at my request, the FBI and the Department of Justice are already well into investigation as to the very sad and tragic death in Minnesota of George Floyd. I have asked for this investigation to be expedited and greatly appreciate all the work done by local law enforcement. My heart goes out to George's family and friends. Justice will be served! Exclamation point. By the way, we talked about Trump and his stupid tweeting. That's a good tweet. That is exactly a presidential tweet. That is a tweet of a president who is a president of all people. White, black, brown, doesn't matter. Okay? Now, he's a very pro-law enforcement president. We've heard that. I am too. But sometimes what you see on video is so egregious that you still have that jurisprudence, right?
How crazy is it?
Huh?
How crazy is it that a social platform is now the biggest communication key for a president of the United States?
Yeah, we're gonna go over that. And
that's so crazy, dude. That's so nuts to me.
Even in the USA, they stop a fight if the guy's. Oh, in the USC, if a guy's not responsive. True. I didn't even think about that. Dave Adams says, "Thank you, Mr. President." Jasper says, "Troy, yep." Kathleen, "Thank you, Mr. President." Yes, that's leadership. Okay, that's not him trying to say, "Well, either we gotta wait and all that stuff." No, he's saying, "Hey, the FBI is going to investigate. I've ordered them to expedite it." That means that, guess what? Minnesota may not even have to bring the charges. It may be the U.S. Attorney's Office out of the wherever in Minnesota there. That's a good thing. Our hearts go out to the Floyd family. We're going to move on, but I just wanted to start the show off. Yesterday, I donated about 25, 30 minutes of time to this. Tonight, I donated 26 minutes of time to this, not because I feel like I have to, but because I have friends like the Alamans who are people of color. Well, not Kevin. He's white as I am.
He's like, you're like clear.
Yeah, you're powder.
I'm Cajun. I'm still a minority, man.
Oh, okay. Ooh. And
you're forward.
To Darius, to Jasper, to Kareem, who's very upset about all this. Good Second Amendment loving conservative black men who are all about being in the community. Hey, we stand with you, buddy. We stand with you.
Absolutely. Amen. We stand with y'all.
All right. So going over to New York City, my wife wanted me to do this story that I didn't put on here, but apparently the rats are so starving right now that that they're like turning on each other and cannibalizing their young, which is a good thing. But they're also going after people when they see them because there's no scraps of food being dropped everywhere by tourists and stuff.
Told you. Told you, dude. If it comes down to it, dude, you don't want to be in the same room with me. I'm telling you. Dude, A1 sauce, man, will make anything taste good.
Oh, my gosh.
That's disgusting, bro.
JD's going to be eating rats.
If you were starving, would you eat a rat?
You're damn right I would.
Don't they carry like a lot of disease and stuff?
Who says I got to be starving to want to eat a rat?
You just do it anyways?
Yeah. I mean, you'll eat a lot of stuff. You get hungry. You out on a camp trip, dude. You run out of food. Shit goes wrong. You're gonna whatever is living.
I always said I don't like fish, but before I started that, I would learn to like fish. Your body's a wonderful thing, but a rat. I mean, I don't know if you can even eat rats. I thought they were so full of disease you couldn't eat them. It's like, I guess like eating a bat. Sorry, bad time.
Yeah. You gotta eat grass.
Frustrated and struggling, New Yorkers contemplate abandoning the city they love. Apparently, 420,000 of the city's wealthiest residents did go, gutting marquee neighborhoods now facing up to 40% vacancy rates. All I ask, please, if you move to a good conservative state, because it's not New York, don't vote in what you left in New York. Please, don't do it. Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what sucks.
Jasper says those rats are big-ass chickens, or as big as chickens. Okay. Troy says bigger than a squirrel. Yeah, they are.
They taste like it too. I tell you that.
Oh yeah, he's saying put a little ginger, onions, make some brown gravy. That's nasty.
Hey,
dude.
there you go.
All I ask,
gravy recipes in the comment section.
All I ask is like this T-shirt says: don't New York my Florida or your Carolinas or any of that stuff. Liberals are like rats. They're like parasites, man. They will go and they will leave a horrible situation like Detroit or New York City, where it's overpriced, overtaxed, overregulated, jobs are scarce, can't ever make enough money, rent's $4,000 due to liberal policies like rent control. And then they'll go and they'll be like, man, screw that, I'm done, I'm out, I'm moving to Florida, man, no taxes, this, that, this. And then they start voting Democrat. Like, dude, you just left a place that the Democrats ruined. Please don't ruin the new place that you're going to. Quit being a parasite.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great analysis.
Leeches.
They just suck the life out of whatever system they try to get into. They vote that nonsense in, and it's just compounds the issues.
Well, I mean, that's what a tick does, right? A tick will suck you dry until there's nothing to suck, and then it'll move on.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a reason why you're leaving New York. It isn't just for the sunshine.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Do it. Just say it's Redneck
I know.
Wednesday.
I'm gonna leave it alone. Kevin already started smiling. He looked right at me and started smiling. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Well, speaking of you and little boys and stuff, Bill Clinton apparently, this new book is coming out, and it's written. I don't remember who's writing it, but apparently Bill Clinton had an affair with Jeffrey Epstein's pimp. Okay, so he had that girl, Ghislaine Maxwell, that would go out and find young girls for Epstein, and apparently Bill Clinton, when he would be riding on the private jet with this lady without Epstein, or on the way to see Epstein, apparently they're getting it on in the jet plane, right? They would take during trips on pedophiles' private jet. Explosive new book claims the details of the alleged affair between Bill Clinton and Ghislaine Maxwell are detailed in a new book about Jeffrey Epstein. Sources including the book claim Clinton would have sex with Maxwell during overseas trips on Epstein's Lolita Express plane. Of course, Clinton denies it, and whoever the author of this is, I hope they don't release the name or they're going under a fake name because they're about to be suicided.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Bill hasn't been suicided.
He's the ringleader, probably.
Bill and Hillary are the reason. I mean, they're the ringleaders.
I'm surprised Hillary just wasn't like, you know what? I'm about tired of your lip. I'm gonna go ahead and have you handled so I can just have all.
Jeffrey Epstein's living the paradise right now. He wasn't suicided. He was fake suicided, and they're just he's probably still waving on his eye. But did you guys read the article?
You think Epstein's still alive?
I think so.
Dude, get him off here.
Get you off here, man.
Close his window.
And what evidence do you have of this?
Dude's addictions. But did you guys see the article that talked about the in California where there's like a whole bunch of there's like 10 earthquakes in a day, but it ended up being like tied to underground human trafficking tunnels?
No.
Oh yeah, I think Tupac posted that.
Yeah, along with Elvis.
He's in Cuba.
Tupac's in Cuba. Epstein's still alive.
I'm going on mute.
You sit back and enjoy your Chick-fil-A. We'll handle this.
Yeah, no crap, man. And you're not even drinking tonight. You're spouting all that nonsense.
That's too much damn sweet tea.
Dude, you guys can actually go on mute for a second here because I'm going to show you some great clips of this guy here, Andrew Kugel. He's the war room director for the Washington Free Beacon. It's kind of an independent newspaper out of D.C. Graduated from the University of Wisconsin. Prior to joining the Free Beacon, he worked as staff press assistant for South Dakota Congresswoman Kristi Noem. Andrew is the whatever his Twitter handle, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, did a great job. The reason why I had that slide is to give him credit for all these videos. He did a great job showing media bias on display. Let me play this for you real quick. Now, when you hear this, I want you to keep in mind that death per million residents, New York is number one with deaths per million with 1,518 per million. Florida is number 28 with 108. National average is 308. So Florida is like 1/3 of the national average, whereas New York is about 5 times the national average. But yet the media loves Cuomo and blasts DeSantis. Let's watch this little montage here.
I mean, Andrew Cuomo has been glorified by.
Sorry, guys.
Andrew Cuomo has been glorified by media despite policies with respect to nursing homes that caused to a number of tragic deaths, whereas Ron DeSantis has instituted pretty successful policy if you look at their numbers. So what's going on here?
Ron DeSantis is not doing what he needed to do 2 weeks ago to protect Florida seniors.
It's been a remarkable show of leadership by Governor Cuomo in recent days. He's providing hope.
And Governor Ron DeSantis is finally finally, maybe too little too late, issuing a stay-at-home order.
Cuomo has become a kind of acting president.
Governor DeSantis should have absolutely acted a lot quicker, not only for the retired people.
Cuomo, everything Trump isn't, honest, direct, brave.
In the case of Governor DeSantis of Florida, he's going exactly the opposite way from what the experts, the people on the front lines, indicate ought to be done.
Governor Cuomo has become a national leader and not just the leader of New York. No stay-at-home order from Governor Ron DeSantis. Why bother, right? I'm sure Florida will be fine.
He is conveying incredible strength in the face of this pandemic.
Act like you give a damn.
I've seen you referred to a little bit recently as the love gov, and I'm wondering if that's bleeding into your demeanor at all.
Dude, it's so nauseating, man. Okay, again, let's do the numbers. Florida is 28th in the nation in deaths per million, 108. Remember, this is talking the fact they're a larger state now than New York is in total population. New York is smaller than Florida by a few million, but yet they are number one with 1,518 deaths. Now remember, this is Cuomo, the one that thought it would be a good idea to force nursing homes, the most vulnerable population, to take in COVID patients. All right. They wanted, the media is all over the nuts of Cuomo, but yet they're all in on blasting DeSantis because he decided to open the economy earlier than what they think was needed. Like they're all like the projections have been any good anyways.
Did I hear them say that Cuomo was not following the guidance of the like leading people, and that was a good thing? Is that what they said?
No, they're saying that he is like he's like not only the governor, but he's kind of the de facto president of the United States because Trump isn't following and DeSantis isn't following the experts' advice. Well, guess what? If we followed Fauci's advice, we'd all be locked down still. We've already thrown our country into depression for no reason. Of course, that scares the Democrats because now that we're actually opening up, they're thinking that the economy is just going to boom the next quarter, which is really
not
bad
only as they put our economy into a depression, they put our people into a depression. That's been a huge issue in this nation in the past few months.
Yeah. In fact, 120,000 people die every year, according to the president's awesome-ass press secretary. Love her to death. But she said, hey, 122,000 people die every year from suicide and alcohol abuse, over drinking themselves. How many more people are going to die this year from that? In fact, I guarantee you there's going to be more people based on suicide and depression and all that are going to die this year from the actual bug itself, the virus. But this is just an example of media bias on display. Let me play another one for you, another little montage here. I know that my redneck in the bottom there, he just loves this stuff. He's breathing heavy. All right, let's go to this next one. The next one, another day, another example of liberal hypocrisy. Now, this guy is about to bust out somebody for not wearing a mask in Florida or Wisconsin, wherever he's at, and this guy has the best bust back on him. Watch this. This is hilarious.
So are the people there just not worried about it, Cal? Are they not worried about their own personal safety?
I haven't met anybody who is. I met some folks actually from Lake Geneva who lived in the area. They were staying a few miles outside of town where I were, and they said they're worried about it. They're worried about that second spike. They're worried about folks coming in from Chicago. But they'll quickly add at the same time, this is a place that relies on that business. I think people here want a little bit more funding when it comes to these programs so that they could stay closed. But again, I think people felt like the Supreme Court made the decision here in Wisconsin that it was time to open up. But you can see here, just around. Nobody's wearing them. Nobody's. The cameraman. There you go, including the cameraman. Yeah, Katie.
Busting out the cameraman. So he turns this guy, this big dude in a Green Bay Packers jersey, and he says, "Look, see, people aren't even wearing the mask. Nobody's wearing them because this reporter, because he's on TV, is wearing his mask. He's like, your staff, your own cameraman's not wearing a mask." And all of a sudden, he felt like a fool.
Slam.
Love it. That is exactly how you deal. Now, remember that video a long time ago? It was during like a hurricane, and the guy was supposed to be getting blown away. I've referenced it before on the show, and people are walking behind him just normal. Yeah. Or like they're like
the
in
one
a
with
flood zone.
kayaking.
Yeah, the kayaking. Like, oh my God, it's so deep, and then people are like walking behind them, right? This is exactly what this is right here. This is that bullshit that just makes the media. This is why the press credibility ratio in this country, the rating is in the tank, because they do stuff like this where he has this big mask on. First of all, he's more than 6 feet away from anybody, and nobody else of his crew is wearing a mask. And then he turns his camera around, tries to bust out on this guy, and this guy's like, your cameraman's not even wearing a mask, you hypocrite. That's the stuff. I love that kind of stuff. I love it when the media gets it handed back to him. Now, remember when the liberal media worried that Trump would never accept the results of the election? Remember, that was the big thing. Hillary, this is such a danger to our democracy. But then they gave a free pass to that big woman from L.A., Stacey Abrams. Watch this.
Cliff said, she lost. I'm like, no, I just didn't win. Because we don't know what really happened because of the miasma of voter suppression.
To say you won't respect the results of the election, that is a direct threat to our democracy.
Was the election in Georgia statewide a free and fair election?
It was not a free and fair election.
There's a word for that. It's called sore loser.
Will I say that this election was not tainted? I will not say that.
I think it's a disqualifying moment. It's a moment of clear and present danger to our constitutional order.
And I will not concede because the erosion of our democracy is not right.
When you jeopardize this event from ever happening again, that's it. We can all stop feeling bad about the fact that you are never, ever getting invited back.
We had this little election back in 2018. I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won.
It is dangerous to the country that he's questioning fundamentally the fairness of this democracy.
The process was not fair. I can't say that empirically I won, but I will never know because we did not have a fair fight.
A large number of voters who supported him are going to believe what he's saying, and they're not going to accept the result. And I think that's very frightening for our democracy.
5 months later.
All right, this goes on. But was there not two narratives there? Okay, so the first one is, Trump in 2016, when he said, hey, we'll wait to see what the election looks like, whether or not I accept the outcome of this election. But he won, so he accepted it. All right?
Yeah.
And he probably would have accepted it anyways. But then we have Stacey Abrams, who's potentially going to be the running mate for Joe Biden, who still has yet to accept defeat for her own election in Georgia. So why the two narratives? And they showed you narratives from all across the news spectrum, including late night hosts. The View.
Yep. Surprise, surprise.
Does that dude really think he's got a snowball chance in hell to win this thing?
I think that this is Trump's to lose. All right, if Trump doesn't shut his Twitter mouth, minus the good tweets like today, but he's on this big notion about Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe supposedly killed his intern and all that, even though he was in Washington the day that she died, which he couldn't have killed her. By the way, he was a Republican at that time. Trump is his own worst enemy. He gets an A-, like I said last night's show, A- on policy. He gets an F. I'll give him, after today's tweets calling for an expedited investigation of George Floyd, I'll bring him back up to a D- on his Twitter thumbs. Somebody has to take that thing away. Somebody has to lock his phone away in the middle of the night. All right?
Yeah.
When he locks himself in the bathroom, supposedly going to take a poop, he's not pooping, he's tweeting real quick, okay?
Yeah.
Take it away.
He's got like 5 phones. He's got like 5 phones stashed around the house, He's like,
does.
They got that one. I got 5 more.
It's like a porn addict, only he's a tweeting addict. The guy only sleeps 4 hours a day. He's actually a very hardworking guy. Supposedly he's he's crazy the amount of work he does at his age.
That's probably the reason why people get so upset about him whenever you go and golfing and stuff. But what people fail to realize is whenever your work schedule is completely different than everybody else and you're always working, a little bit of golfing's okay.
Dude, I'm just like...
Oh, yeah, and they beat him up this week because he went golfing.
Yeah.
First time in 3 months.
Biden is going to be such an embarrassment to this country.
Biden's going to become president if he does win. He's only doing, this is what America really needs to realize. You're not just voting for him for president or against him. You're voting for whoever his liberal running mate's going to be, which is probably either going to be this lady or Kamala Harris, which is a danger to our republic.
He's not even going to remember what his damn job is.
He won't even know. Yeah, it's pudding night at the White House. I mean, he's got to be put away somewhere.
He won't have a clue. Like, was I supposed to do something today? Like, he's not gonna have any idea.
Can you imagine trying to remember the football coach for the nuclear weapons?
I was getting ready to say that.
He
Can
better
you see
make that
him
thing
getting-
like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1. His password is password or something. I mean, I hope somebody else has the football codes. Whoever his vice president is, God forbid.
He at money W0RD. This is.
I can so picture him just strolling through the White House grounds in his PJs at like middle of the day, just not even knowing where the hell he's at.
Showing like just randomly walking by a screen that's like and he's like, "Hi."
No, yeah, like like you get those reporters out on the White House lawn and they'll report from there and do their story, and all of a sudden there's Joe in his PJs, and all of a sudden he's got handlers running after him like, no, come on.
We'll be lucky to see him in his PJs.
Hey, you remember
That's gonna be.
I got one more here. It's called "Remember the Finger Wag." So back when Obama was president, Governor Jan Brewster, I think was her name, from Arizona, met Obama on the tarmac and waved her finger at him. And that was called like unpatriotic. How dare you wave at the president? But then Pelosi does it and everything's okay. Let's just watch this little montage real quick.
Day culminated with this now iconic photo of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
And listen to all the words that these liberals use from across the different networks. They're called iconic. It's an iconic photo. They use the same language. That's how you know that this stuff is all contrived in some dark back room.
With this now instant iconic photo.
Look at that photo of one woman standing up.
Standing in a room full of men. Standing among a room full of men.
Standing among a room full of men.
A room full of men.
At a table with all men there.
With her finger pointed directly at the president.
Challenging the president. Taking on the president.
With her finger pointed at the president.
Giving it to the president of the United States.
It's this picture with the Republican governor's finger in the president's face that has Jan Brewer on the defensive today.
Idea that someone could do that to the president is just so off-putting.
Sticking her finger in the face of the president of the United States, something I was taught at 5 years old, you don't do because it's disrespectful.
Jabbing her finger in the president's face again and again.
Jan Brewer is waving her finger in his face.
Shaking her finger in the president's nose.
I think she waved her finger at the president's face on purpose.
Incredibly disrespectful. Incredibly disrespectful.
Even if you don't like someone, you don't do that. That's a general consensus.
With a now infamous finger wag.
I mean, the now infamous wagging of her finger.
All that many saw in that famous photograph was a white woman wagging her finger at the first black president.
What's wrong with this picture? Would they do this to a white president?
Question,
you don't think it would have happened to a white president?
Of course not.
That hates the president so much that they don't even have respect for the office.
So, whenever I talk about media bias on this show, that is exactly what I'm speaking of, folks. Right there, man. Two totally different narratives. And I love how the left always makes everything about race. Always everything about race. How dare she wave at the first black president? But Pelosi does it. She's a hero. It's an iconic photograph of her taking on a room full of white men. That sounded more racist than anything I think I ever heard. Does your wife ever point her finger in your face, by the way?
Has my wife?
Yeah, does she? Oh, I know when you're married, she does. That ain't a Pentecostal marriage.
We actually like to respect each other around this house, so we don't do those things. It's called mutual respect. Equally yoked, as the scripture would say.
You know what Kathleen said, totally off now, same topic. It's iconic because someone who drinks as much as she does shouldn't be able to stand up that straight for that long.
Nailed it.
I'm kicking you off the show. I'm going to bring your wife on Redneck Wednesdays.
Oh, man.
Oh, speaking of wives, happy birthday, Morgan. JD's wife.
Yeah, it's Morgan's birthday.
Happy birthday, JD's wife.
Now she's going to pour her finger in your face for forgetting to mention it on the air.
Yep, you're done. Why is it that
I made?
Go ahead, JD. Go. I think JD froze up.
All right. What I was gonna say is, what's up with people saying white with such a strong WH? It almost seems like a racial attack. I mean, that's that just me being sensitive?
That's what I tell liberal white old guys on social media when they're defending like Governor Whitmer. I'm like, by the way, that party hates you. You know that, right? They don't like you. They despise you. Come over to a party where we have black, brown, white, and we love everybody based on merit. It's not about labeling everybody on our side. You're on a side where you've labeled yourself into a corner and they hate you. If you're white, old, and straight, you're a boomer to them. They hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave says Morgan's got a big finger. JD, how do you know, Dave? Remember, JD's a big boy. Watch your answer there, big guy. Got another one for you here. Let's see here. Oh, so Trump. I've been talking about the media bias, and it isn't just the media now. It's going to be.
Woo!
Your wife took you off air and beat you for a minute there, huh?
I don't know what happened. I think it's.
He's blaming my computer as he's cutting out right now. Blaming my computer. It ain't mine, buddy.
Here we go.
Me and Kevin, we're doing great. Hey, so Trump's going to take on the Twitter masses and all that. He said, "There's no way, quote, there's no way, zero, that mail-in ballots will be anything less than substantially fraudulent. Mailboxes will be robbed, ballots will be forged, and even illegally printed out and fraudulently signed. The governor of California is sending ballots to millions of people. Anyone living in the state, no matter who they are or how they got there, will get one." That's actually the wrong tweet that I had, but he is going to take on Twitter. He said, "Hey, either you guys get fair to conservatives or we're going to regulate you." I love it. I think that should come. He's going to do some sort of executive action. A guy named Representative Gates has introduced a bill in Congress to take away their immunity. There is a limited immunity for them to censor. It was done in hopes of, I think it was because there were so many people proliferating social media, and the social media was from ISIS. And so the social media was given kind of immunity to say, hey, if you need to take them down, go ahead. Well, now they're using it against conservatives, saying, hey, we have a duty to protect the people. Well, the Supreme Court has ruled a couple times that if, let's say, the Self-Made Podcast had a store, right? And everybody went to that store in your town, and somebody decided to protest, could you kick them out? Well, if your store became the de facto public square, then no. According to the Supreme Court, your store became a de facto public square where everybody goes to congregate, kind of like a bookstore, right? And so that's what they're saying here, is that social media has become the big public square. That's where people on the right and the left, they post their stuff, they debate, they talk about the subjects of the day, and they are now the public square. So,
and
Trump
then it
saying,
gets taken down and red flagged.
Exactly. Well, now they started, the dumbest thing they did was start putting fact checks on the president's tweets. Now, I do think that the president's an idiot with his Twitter. We've already covered that. But it just dragged it into the thing. So now they're asking, the right is saying, well, who checks Twitter's POTUS fact checker? The biased head of Twitter's site integrity has been called into question. Basically,
hey, I seen one of Troy's comments on here, and that's a good point. Do you think all them tweets are actually coming directly from the president, or do you think there's somebody else behind that?
No. President does his own tweeting. Now, Joe Biden, no. Joe Biden has no clue even what to write. Right? So, yeah, and President always calls him out like, okay, Biden, you didn't even really write that. That was one of your handlers.
You know, Biden's probably like, can somebody tell me how to work this tweeter?
Yeah, exactly. That guy has no clue how to even do a show, a podcast, let alone get on there with his shaky hands and tweet.
I love tweakers. Tweakers are my favorite voters.
We're gonna beat Joe Biden.
But if you think about it, who's fact checking?
We're gonna beat Joe Biden.
Every day in America, in every courtroom, you have a set of facts, and you have two lawyers that are arguing two totally different narratives on the set of facts, right? I always say the same with Christians, right? You put 4 Christians in the room with a Bible, and it's all written there in plain English, and they'll still debate about what the Bible means, right? That's how it is when you try to fact check on the internet. Who's the fact checker? And how do you know that their opinion is the right opinion on the fact?
I feel like if Trump's writing his own tweets, his administration wakes up first thing in the morning and they're like, "Oh shit."
Oh God, I can only imagine. It's kind of like when.
Oh shit.
Here's a funny thing, though. For once in our political history, we have 2 candidates where they have people that just say, "Oh shit,"
Yeah.
like when Biden said, "You ain't black."
Press
his people are like, "Oh no."
Why would you?
Well, did you hear about that? He took it a step further afterwards and blamed Charlemagne.
He blamed Charlemagne for it?
Yeah.
Biden's the only person that can be like, well, I don't remember saying that, and can get away with it. I don't remember saying that.
Down on it. He
Maybe
doubled
they
down
don't
on that
give.
statement.
Maybe they, because Trump's a little tougher than Biden. Biden's so frail. Kathleen says that maybe they took his Twitter away. They're like, man, you have a bad enough. You have a bad enough vocal skills. We don't need you tweeting too. I believe that. Totally believe that. Hey, did you see? We're all going to decide on this next one. All right, Joe Biden. The more he's out of his basement, out of hiding, and he's on TV, the better it is for Trump. Apparently, the guy, there's a big thing going around. Did he shart? You know what sharting is, right? That's like a shit and a fart together, right? Did he shart in his Depends live on TV? He was talking to Governor Tom Wolf of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to play this twice, and I report, you decide. That's the Fox thing, right? Let me get this thing going here. All right, everybody quiet.
Programs. Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost?
Did you hear it? Let's play it one more time.
Programs. Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost? Programs.
Look at his
or
face.
stop work on roads and bridges. So
he was smiling a little bit there, like, oh, you can see him moving around. That's how I think he did it. Ready? Watch his shoulders.
Or stop work on roads and bridges. So
like when you're trying to just let it out quietly because you got to fart and you're like in class, like in high school or something. So you're like letting it out little by little at a time.
But you're sitting in the leather chair, and the leather chair is not forgiving.
I think in his situation, dude, he can't even control when they fall out. It's like to him, it's like a surprise. Oh, there it is.
Coming.
But Democrats, you had so many young candidates. The only person that might have a problem keeping it in his hole is I'm not gonna say that. That's public, but that's only because he's been stretched, right? But
oh my God!
And I'm a libertarian. He has the right to do it. I don't care what he does. Biden has
Welcome
the right
to
to run for
Redneck
president.
Wednesday.
Doesn't mean it's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Can you
We were
imagine?
doing good. We were doing good.
Can you imagine?
We were doing good.
Can you imagine if Biden is sitting there talking to President Xi on the phone, and all of a sudden he just lets one rip like that on accident? Or Vladimir Putin, they're like at a state dinner, and he just
or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost?
That dude shit his draws. I don't care what anybody says.
Dude.
If that was Trump, by the way, that would be all over late night television.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
waiting
he'd
to
be
see this
getting-
on late night television.
And he would be so disrespectful and all this crap and just.
And we'd still be laughing at him the same way we're laughing about Biden.
You're damn right. You're
All
damn right.
Just as a test, I just let one rip in my chair, but I did it quietly. I honestly think he did. But mine, and I got a leather chair. I'm on a leather chair.
I don't think he knows when them things are falling out, dude.
Well, he's still got to. I mean, for it to make that loud of a noise, the sphincter has to be a little tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why he smiled, because it was a surprise. He was like, "Ooh, that tickle."
One more time. Watch his shoulders and stuff.
So good it popped your back.
All right. So on the screen right now, I know you guys probably can't see it, but on the screen right now, he looks very uncomfortable. Like, oh my God. You're like, oh, not now. Like have you ever been on the road and you got a crap so bad and you're like just begging for an exit?
Yeah.
And then the exit that you get to, you're like, oh my gosh, just farms and fields. You're like, where's the McDonald's, right? And then you're contemplating, man, I might have to just pull over and just let it out right on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how he looks right now.
There's no contemplating, dude.
Yeah, I'm not crapping my pants. I'll tell you that right now.
His face.
That's what guardrails aren't just there for cars, okay? They're also there to park your ass.
Can you imagine? Hey, and I used to even think about like stuff like that, man. I'll just run into the woods real quick. Nobody will even notice, right? Look at his face, man. He looks so uncomfortable right here. And now look at him right when he farts, he just lets out like this big sigh of relief.
Programs. Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost?
Oh man!
You know what happened there? He stopped by the Taco Bell, got him one of those 5-layer burritos, and he just had a little movement.
The bad thing is, like, if he was president, like the press secretary would be like, yes, he sharted. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and answer your question now. He sharted.
In fact, before anybody, I'm gonna start my press conference. Yes, he sharted. His defense got changed. Okay, don't anybody ask me a question about this all day. At least Trump would be cool about it. Like, that was the best short ever. In fact, the biggest short.
Look,
I have
greatest
size of the
ice
pen
short
anybody
like
else had.
no other shorter that's ever shorted. Okay,
I shorted
it was.
gold.
Look, it was huge. It was very huge.
It was a huge shirt.
Biden like looks over at his security and is like, "Listen, I shit myself."
Oh man, can you imagine his security's gonna wear the masks like long after the coronavirus is gone. They're just gonna be like, "No, sir, we're just being extra safe." They got
the Secret
that, like,
Service.
You know how you like put like a mentholic in it or something, like the Vicks vapor rub.
Yeah.
If Biden's president, the Secret Service is going to have so much action with that guy. Like, they're going to have so much more to do.
I want to know if they'll be tasking them. Like, they said, like, the Democrats are usually pretty mean to the Secret Service guys. Like, they're very demanding, especially Hillary Clinton, from what I heard. I wonder if they're going to be the ones that have to change his diaper, his brief.
Oh, my God. Oh,
I want to know the code
to be
name
the
for
new
the
guy.
Secret Service. What's the code name going to be for him? Starter?
You don't want to be the new guy in that agency if you got to protect his ass.
I got seniority.
Hey, new guy.
Go get the depends.
It's you, brother. Dude.
Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us tonight. It was a good time. I know we start off with a hefty topic. Hopefully justice will be served in the George Floyd case. Hopefully you guys had a great time. Hey, tomorrow night is our final showing of the week. I got family coming in Friday, so I will not be doing a show unless there's some sort of breaking news like last Friday where Joe Biden made a complete ass, no pun intended, of himself. So unless there's something like that, then special edition, then we will not be doing a show Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But tomorrow we'll have Kareem on the show and potentially Natalie, the liberal, on the show as well. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, make sure that you follow our page. Even after this is done, go to YouTube and subscribe where you can watch this and share it with your friends. We'll see you guys later.
This has been Nightcaps with Nate. Please join Nate for a nightcap every weeknight at 9 Eastern here on Facebook Live.
Peace.